guys, welcome to my channel. I am April and you're in the kitchen of Great Apes Cakes. Shh, don't tell nobody, but tomorrow's my mom's birthday. Her favorite cake is carrot cake, so that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna make a carrot cake from scratch. The ingredients I have here is brown sugar, grated carrot, crushed pineapples, vegetable oil, 3 eggs. You got cinnamon, nutmeg, and ginger, sugar, baking powder, baking soda, and salt, pecans, vanilla, and all-purpose flour. So let's get started. We're going to start off with, we got our all-purpose flour. We're going to add our dry ingredients to that, which is our cinnamon, nutmeg, and ginger. And our baking soda, baking powder, salt. And I used kosher salt for that as well. I'm going to mix these ingredients really good with a whisk. Alright, and we'll set this aside a minute. And then in our stand-up mixer, we're going to mix our brown sugar and our eggs, our sugar, and we're going to go ahead and get our attachment. Just use your paddle attachment, and we're going to add these eggs one at a time. Mix really good, it's light and creamy. I'm going to put my mixer on low, slowly add my vegetable oil. Once that gets good incorporated, we're going to add our flour 1/3 cup at a time. So let it get good mixed in, and then we'll add another 1/3. And then just kind of get it mixed in good before you add the next one. Smelling good already. And pour the rest in here. Alright, and once you get that good and mixed, you're going to add your pineapple. And your carrots, shredded carrots. Put that down in here and give it a good mix. I'm going to add a little splash of vanilla in here. And then I'm going to take a bowl, put about a tablespoon of all-purpose flour, and I'm going to add pecans. She really likes pecans. And then I'm going to give that just a quick mix. And putting it in the flour will keep it from sinking down to the bottom in the mix. And I'm making a mess. Get that good coated like that. We're just gonna add it in. quick stir. We're going to have 3 8-inch pans, 8-inch round pans, with parchment paper and sprayed with some cooking spray. And just evenly distribute each in each pan. Try to get them as even as possible. I'm not too good at that. You could also add raisins in this. We don't care for raisins, but you could if that's your thing. A lot of people have raisins in their cake, but all right. And then I have the oven preheated at 350 degrees, and it'll go in there for about 35 to 45 minutes. So I just got my last cake out of the oven. I'm gonna do the toothpick check just to make sure it comes out clean, and it does, so it's good to go. Usually cover it with plastic wrap, but right now I'm out. So we're going to use tinfoil instead. And I like to loosely cover my cakes. I don't turn them out because to me it locks in the moisture. And so all of my cakes that I bake, I let them cool with either plastic wrap or tinfoil over top of them to seal in all that moisture. Do not flip mine out on a cooling rack. So anyway, now while those cool, we're going to start with the icing. So I've got 12 tablespoons or 1.5 sticks of unsalted butter. And put it right down in here. And it needs to be at room temperature so it's soft. And then, I know people don't like this, but this is my recipe. 3/4 of a cup of Crisco vegetable shortening. I like the sticks. It's just easier to measure out. So I'll put that right down in there. And then I'll put my paddle attachment on. I'm gonna let this mix up really good before I do anything else. So right now it looks like I'm starting with buttercream icing, and that's how I make my cream cheese icing to make it stable. Because a lot of times if you use regular cream cheese icing, it tends to be slippery and fall apart, and I can't stand that. So what I do is I take my buttercream recipe and I just basically start like it normally does, and then I'm going to add a block of cream cheese, and I'll show you how. So this recipe calls for the 12 tablespoons of unsalted butter, the 3/4 cups of vegetable shortening, and then we're gonna start putting in, usually I would put in like some wet ingredients, but I'm not going to right now because of the cream cheese. So I'm gonna start off with 3 cups. It calls for 6 cups total of powdered sugar, but I'm gonna start with 3 cups for right now, and then we'll go from there. So here's one, I gotta unlock it. 3. And then I'm gonna give that a good mix. Really slowly, and we'll have a mess. Let it get separated really good. When you add cream cheese to it, cream cheese is made up of a lot of water, so you don't need a lot of liquids like normal buttercream would. I love this recipe. It's great for decorating cakes. Fantastic. So it's starting to get incorporated pretty good. And because it's really thick, I don't know if you can see how thick it is, I'm gonna go ahead and drop in my cream cheese icing. So 1 block of cream cheese. And this is going to smooth it up. You can see how much creamier it looks. So now I'm going to continue with the additional 3 cups of powdered sugar. It's getting a little thick, so now we're going to take 1½ teaspoon of vanilla and drizzle that in. And we're going to continue. You may or may not need lubricant. We'll see. I'll take my knife right here and kind of clean off the side of the bowl. And if you notice anything in my videos, I'm very messy. And that is cream cheese icing. And you can see how stable it is. I mean, it's just like a buttercream, but it has the taste of a cream cheese icing, and it's a whole lot easier when you're trying to decorate and make a cake pretty and smooth. So, we have our icing made. All we're waiting on is the cakes to cool. And when they cool down, I will show you how I'll decorate. So we're back. We got our cooled cakes here, and turntable, cake board, spatula, scraper, our icing that we made, and our leveler. So I'll start off by figuring out what level we need this on. These are pretty fairly flat already, so we won't have to take much off the top. It's hard to cut through all of these nuts in this cake. Way too many. I suggest only using 1 cup of nuts, not 2. But she requested lots of nuts. That one right there looks pretty thin. I don't know if I'm going to disturb that one because this is not going like normal. So, okay. Keep it down here. Smash them down. All right. All right. Take my first layer. Like I said, leveling these with this many nuts in them. I don't know if you can tell. There's tons of nuts in it. So, one thing I did forget was my scissors. All right, so I got my little piping bag with my icing in it, and I'm just gonna cut about that much. And then I'm going to pipe a dam around the edge. And then fill it in. And then I like to take this turntables where you can spin it. To spread out. Like that. And I'm going to take my next layer. And I'm going to put this one bottom side down on top of that one. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take a spatula, and I'm going to smooth that out. And I always take my extra and so waste in it. I have my bowl, it's got my leftovers in it, and scrape it off. You'll be amazed at how much you save. Alright, and you can tell how this cream cheese icing is very firm. That's why I liked my cream cheese icing recipe, because it is very good, very stable, and I love it for decorating. Alright, our last one here, we're going to put it on top and we're going to do it face down. It was pretty flat, so I didn't have to flatten it out very much. Alrighty, make sure it's even, and it's not. It's a little crooked. This is where I like to make sure everything's even, because if it's not, you can fix it because there's no icing around it and you won't mess up anything and get it all over your hands. So I like to make sure it's good. And then kind of mash down on it. Start going all the way around with my icing. And sometimes it spits at you. Alright, and go back at my bag. I like to hold it in my hand. Get as far down as I can, because you don't want icing up here. It's a mess. Put it down as far as I can on hand. And then I'll let my hand be as a cup. Push the spoon down. You can tell, like I said, my cream cheese is my favorite thing because it's so good, but everybody's scared to use it. I used to be very scared to use it because I had a wedding that I was doing one day, and I was up all night long trying to just get the cake smooth. So annoying, so frustrating. And I wished I would have had this recipe in my life. So. Just get it good and covered. Now, a lot of people use an offset spatula to smooth out the cake. I don't know if it's just because that's not how I learned or what, but I cannot smooth a cake out like that. I like this. It's like a pastry cutter slash bucket scraper. I don't know, I've heard it called so many different names. This is my cake scraper. So, this is how I smooth out my cake. excess, always take it, scrape it on the bowl so you can reuse it later, as long as it doesn't have a lot of crumbs in it. Same thing for the top. Just go in and spread this out. Scrape off the excess. My apron. Need me a new one. Alright, we're back to go. Let's do this again. I'll be amazed at how much icing that you'll be able to get off just by smoothing it out. And we'll go back and we'll fix the pieces so you kind of see. We might need to do like a second coat of icing. Any of you do this. I do. A lot of people say that this is a rookie kind of thing. I've been doing cakes for over 11 years now, and when I found out about the paper towel trick, it has saved my life. I mean, I can get a cake pretty smooth, but to me, to be able to get it very smooth, like I like it, the Viva paper towels, I'll show them to you in a second, are amazing. I love them. So then I go back through like on the places that you can kind of see through, and I'm gonna rub a little bit more icing on them. Then go back in with this and just smooth that out. Cream cheese icing is a bit transparent anyway. Alright, so that looks a little bit better. Alright, and then I'm going to go back through and smooth them up at the top here. Alright. Do this one more time. Actually, I may say one more time, and I may do it like 10 more times. Just have it. Clean off my scraper quite frequently. But to me, this is my lifesaver when it comes to making a cake pretty and smooth. If I did not have this, I don't know what I would do. And then even with this icing, this cream cheese icing, which normally would be very wet to touch, my paper towel trick works on this icing recipe too. Give me 1 second. So here's my piece of paper towels. As you can tell, they're smooth. No ridges, no design. That's what you're looking for. You do not want a design here will transfer to your cake. So, and all we're gonna do is just take the paper towel, very, very light hand, gently set it up against it and just kind of smooth it out. Take little sections at a time. And you'll see all the little places like right there. I don't know if you can see that. But you just kind of barely just rub it and it makes all those little creases go away. And you have to be careful because some icing recipes are wet or more wet than this one, and it may not work on that, but it definitely works on this one. Most cream cheese recipes, if you touch this with that, it would stick and you'd have a mess. So I love this cream cheese icing recipe. Like I said, I don't know if you can tell right there. We're gonna smooth all this out. Kind of have to get the feel of it. It may take a little time to get used to it, but like I said, some people think this is a cheater way. I'll take the cheater way. To me, it just works best. Gives it a smooth, clean finish. Everybody has their own techniques. A lot of it was how we were taught, so. Alrighty. There's that so far. Alrighty. Just make sure everything looks good. Alright, I'm gonna get my baking sheet. I know, it's awful. But this is the best baking sheet ever. I bake all of my biscuits on this. It's old, but it's amazing. I don't like new pans. So I'm going to take some pecans. Told you, she loves nuts. I'm gonna put in this tray. So then what I can do is I can grab a handful in my hand like this, and I'm going to just press them gently into the cake. And all of them will stick. You just scrape them back down into the pan, just like that. And just keep going around the edges. If you wanted to go all the way up with it, you definitely could. This is your cake, you can do whatever you want. I like having a pan here because you're not wasting any. I don't know if you've seen the price of pecans, but they're not cheap. You like to save them. You ain't wasting around here. Just make sure you got what you need all the way around, just like that. All right. And then, then I'm going to worry about them on the floor. Okay, so now that we have our cake base sized and we have the pecans around the side, I'm going to take a Wilton tip in a bag, and this is a 1-end tip, so it's kind of like a cupcake tip. There's other tips out there that you can use. I like this one best. I think it makes the prettiest curls. So what I'm gonna do now is I start at the 4 corners first. And all you do is you apply pressure and go around in a circle and kind of make a tip at the top. And so I do that. And then I go to the 4 corners here, just like that. All right, and then I'm going to fit 2 in between each one. All right, I think I like that pretty good. And then I'm going to probably take just a few more of my pecans. Maybe put a little bit here in the middle. Sprinkle just a little bit in the center here. Doesn't have to be perfect. All right, and then I have a sign that I'm going to put in the middle of it that says "Happy Birthday" that I've made on my Cricut. So I have one more that I don't like. There you go. All right, and that is the carrot cake from start to finish. And so I hope you like this video. You have to let me know if you try this recipe. It is fantastic. It's a very good carrot cake recipe. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and we'll be back again soon. Have a good day.